Jesus went with his disciples to the Mount of Olives, and Jesus told his disciples to pray that they not fall in temptation. And then going about a stone's throw away, he knelt and he prayed, "Father, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but your will be done." And then an angel came and strengthened him, and Jesus in anguish prayed and sweat great drops of blood. And then Jesus saw that his disciples were sleeping, and he said, "Why are you sleeping? Pray that you don't fall into temptation." Then a crowd led by Judas, one of the 12, approached Jesus, and Judas went to kiss Jesus, and Jesus said, "Judas, do you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" And Jesus' followers said, "Lord, should we strike with swords?" And they cut off the ear of the high priest's servant, and Jesus said, "None of this." And so he touched the man's ear and healed it. And then Jesus said, "Am I leading a rebellion that you come at me with swords? I was teaching in the temple courts daily, but this is the hour in which darkness reigns." So they seized Jesus and they took him to the house of the high priest, and Peter followed at a distance, entered the courtyard and sat by the fire. A young girl said to Peter, "You were with Jesus." And Peter said, "I don't know him." A little later someone said, "You are one of them." And Peter said, "I am not." And then a little bit later someone said, "This man is a Galilean. He was with Jesus." And Peter said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he looked up and Peter saw Jesus, and he was reminded that Jesus had said that Peter would betray Jesus 3 times, or disown Jesus 3 times before the rooster crowed. And then Peter wept, and he went out and he wept bitterly. Now the guards, they mocked Jesus, they insulted him, and they beat him. They took him to the chief priests, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law asked Jesus, "Are you the Christ?" And Jesus said, "From now on you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of God." And they said, "Then are you the Son of God?" And Jesus said, "You are right in saying so." And then they took Jesus to Pilate, accusing Jesus of opposing taxes to Caesar and claiming to be a king. And so Pilate asked Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus said, "Yes." And then Pilate said, "I have found no charges against this man." And they said, "But he's been stirring up the Judeans with his teaching from Galilee to Jerusalem." And because Jesus was a Galilean, Pilate sent him to Herod, who was in Jerusalem for the feast. So they took Jesus to Herod, and Herod was happy to see him. He was hoping that Jesus would perform some kind of a miracle. So Herod questioned Jesus, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law brought their accusations against Jesus, but Jesus said nothing. So Herod and his soldiers, they mocked Jesus, and they put an elegant robe on him, and they sent him back to Pilate. Now Pilate said to the chief priests, I have found no charge deserving death in this man. I will punish him and then release him." And they said, "No, crucify Jesus and release Barabbas." Now Barabbas had been arrested for being a revolutionary and for murder. And they said, "Crucify, crucify Jesus." And Pilate said, "I have found no charge in this man deserving death. I will punish him and then I will release him." But because they insisted that Jesus be crucified, Pilate gave in to their demands. And this is the story of the arrest and the trial of Jesus.